Hello, everyone. Welcome to Say It.
Hey everyone, so happy you are here with us today. I am Mike.
And I am Sarah.
Great to have you with us. Sarah, my friend came back from a holiday in Italy this weekend, and she was telling me everything about it. And she said, I enjoyed that trip too much.
Too much?
She meant it as the best possible thing, but what she actually said was, that trip was a problem for me.
She accidentally complained about the best holiday of her life.
And then later she asked me how much people were at the dinner.
2 sentences, 2 words, and both were the wrong choice.
Much, many, a lot of. 3 words that every English learner uses every single day, and almost everyone is mixing them up without realizing it.
And by the end of this episode, you will know exactly which one to use every time. But first, please like and subscribe to Say It. Every new subscriber motivates us to make more episodes for you.
Right, let's start.
So, your friend said 2 things. She enjoyed her trip too much, and she asked how much people were at the dinner.
And both felt completely natural when she said them.
That is exactly what makes this topic tricky. Much, many, and a lot of all do the same job. They tell us about quantity, but they are not interchangeable.
Why not? They all just mean a large amount of something.
They do, but each one has its own rules, and those rules start with one question. Can you count the thing you are talking about, or can you not?
Count it?
Yes, think about books. You can count books. 1 book, 2 books, 10 books. Books are countable.
And now think about water. You cannot say 1 water or 2 waters.
Exactly. Water is uncountable, and that one difference, countable or uncountable, decides whether you use much or many.
So much goes with uncountable things.
Always. Money, time, water, information, traffic. Much money, much time, much information.
And many goes with countable things. Friends, mistakes, questions, people. Many friends, many mistakes, many people.
Right, and then there's a lot of.
Which goes with everything.
Everything, countable or uncountable, a lot of never refuses any noun. A lot of time, a lot of friends, a lot of information, a lot of people.
So if you're ever unsure which word to reach for, a lot of is the safe choice.
It is, but a lot of is not just a safety net. It's actually the most natural choice in one specific type of sentence, and that's something most learners have never been told.
Which type of sentence?
That is exactly what we're going to talk about now. So let us start with much, and the first thing to know is where much feels most at home.
Which is?
Negatives and questions. That is where much sounds completely natural.
Like, I do not have much time.
Exactly. Or, there is not much traffic today. She does not have much experience. He did not make much progress.
All negatives, all uncountable nouns, all completely natural.
Now, questions. How much money do you need? How much time do we have? Did you get much sleep last night?
And those all sound natural too.
They do. But now try this. I have much money.
That sounds a little strange actually.
It does. And that is the most important thing to know about much. Using it on its own in a positive sentence sounds unnatural in everyday English.
So what do native speakers say instead?
They say, I have a lot of money. That is the natural replacement in positive statements.
So in positive sentences, a lot of takes over from much.
Every time. She has a lot of experience. We have a lot of work to do. There is a lot of noise outside.
But much completely disappears in positive sentences.
Not completely. There are a few structures where much sounds completely natural in a positive sentence.
Which ones?
After so, to, and as. There was so much noise I could not sleep. I ate too much pizza. Take as much as you need.
So much and too much, those feel natural.
Very natural. And there is one more place where much appears constantly in positive sentences.
Where?
Before comparatives. This is much better than I expected. It is much cheaper to cook at home. The journey was much longer than we thought.
Much better, much cheaper, much longer. Yes, those sound completely normal.
Because much before a comparative is natural in any situation, spoken or written, formal or casual.
And one last thing. What if someone asks you a question and you just want to say, no, not a large amount?
Then much can stand alone. Did you sleep well last night? Not much. Is there snow where you live? Not much.
So in short answers, not much, that is perfectly natural.
Always. Much lives in negatives, questions, after so and to, before comparatives, and in short answers. Those are its homes.
And everywhere else, a lot of steps in.
Exactly.
So much handles uncountable nouns. Now let us talk about many.
Many follows almost exactly the same pattern, but it works with countable nouns, things you can number individually.
Like friends, mistakes, questions, places.
Exactly. And just like much, many feels most natural in negatives and questions.
I do not have many friends here.
There are not many chairs in the room.
She did not make many mistakes.
He has not visited many countries.
And in questions, how many people are coming? How many times have you been there?
How many bags did she bring? Are there many good restaurants nearby?
All of those sound completely natural.
They do. Now, many in a positive sentence is a slightly different story from much.
How so?
Many in a positive sentence is not wrong, but it sounds a little formal, a little like a news headline.
Like, many people believe this.
Yes, you will hear that in news reports, academic writing, formal presentations. It is correct, but in everyday conversation, a lot of people believe this sounds more natural.
So the same rule applies. In casual positive sentences, reach for a lot of.
That is the safe choice for everyday speech. Save many for negatives and questions.
But there are exceptions, just like with much.
Yes, after so, to, and as, many sounds completely natural in positive sentences.
She has so many ideas. There are too many cars on the road. You can take as many as you like.
All natural. The so and to change everything.
Now, there is one noun I want to ask about specifically, and it is one of the most common mistakes I hear.
Which one?
People, as in, how much people are coming, or there are much people here.
And this is the exact sentence your friend used. How much people were at the restaurant.
So what is wrong with it?
People looks like a collective noun, like a group, a mass. And in many languages it works that way. But in English, people is the plural of person. One person, two people, three people.
So it is fully countable.
Always, which means how many people are coming. There are many people here, never much.
Many people. How many people? Not much people. Ever.
And just like much, many can stand alone in a short answer. Are there many students in your class? Not many. How many came? Not many.
Not many. Completely natural.
Negatives, questions, after so and to, and short answers. Those are where many lives most comfortably.
And in positive sentences, a lot of is waiting.
Always ready. Much lives mainly in negatives and questions. Many lives mainly in negatives and questions. But a lot of goes everywhere.
Every sentence type?
Every sentence type. Positive, negative, question. A lot of never says no.
With uncountable nouns, I have a lot of time this week. There is a lot of noise outside.
With countable nouns, there were a lot of people at the party. We have a lot of options.
And in negatives, she does not have a lot of patience. We do not have a lot of time.
In questions, did you get a lot of sleep? Are there a lot of tourists here in summer?
So whatever the noun, whatever the sentence, a lot of handles it.
That is exactly why native speakers reach for it so naturally. It never creates a problem.
What about lots of? I hear that a lot too.
Lots of means exactly the same thing as a lot of. It's just slightly more informal, more casual, more spoken. She has lots of energy. There are lots of reasons to try.
Both correct, both natural. In everyday conversation, you will hear both constantly. Now, there's one thing about a lot of that I think surprises people.
The adverb form?
Yes, sometimes you hear, I like this song a lot. She travels a lot. Thanks a lot. There's no noun after it.
And that is a completely different use. When a lot appears at the end of a sentence with no noun following it, it's working as an adverb. It means very much or frequently.
So the rule is a lot of before a noun, a lot on its own at the end.
Exactly. I have a lot of work. Noun follows, so a lot of. I enjoyed it a lot. No noun, so just a lot.
And never, I enjoyed it a lot of.
Never. That of has nothing to attach to.
A lot of also works before comparatives, just like much.
Just like much. This is a lot better than I expected. It's a lot cheaper to take the train. Both completely natural.
So a lot of, universal quantifier, both noun types, all sentence types, and a lot, the adverb at the end of a sentence.
That is all of it. So we have the countable and uncountable rule, much for uncountable, many for countable, a lot of for both. But there is a second layer to this, and this is the layer that most ESL books never explain clearly.
What do you mean?
Most learners know the countable and uncountable rule, but they still get it wrong in real conversations. And the reason is the type of sentence you are speaking also matters.
The type of sentence.
Whether it is positive, negative, or a question, that changes which word feels natural.
So even if I pick the right word for the noun, I might still pick the wrong word for the sentence.
Exactly. Let me show you. Take the word work. Work is uncountable, so the rule says much work.
I have much work this week.
That is grammatically possible, but say it to a native speaker and it will sound stiff, almost old-fashioned.
So what does a native speaker actually say?
I have a lot of work this week. In a positive sentence, a lot of is the natural choice, not much.
But in a negative sentence,
I do not have much work this week. That sounds completely natural.
and a question?
How much work do you have? Perfectly natural again.
So much comes back in negatives and questions, but steps aside in positive sentences.
And a lot of steps in. That is the pattern.
The same applies to many.
The same applies. I have many friends, possible, but sounds formal. I have a lot of friends, natural in conversation.
I do not have many friends, natural.
How many friends do you have? Natural.
So the grid is positive sentences, reach for a lot of. Negative sentences and questions, much and many come back.
That is the whole second layer. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
Is there any exception, anytime much or many work in a positive sentence without sounding strange?
Yes, many in positive sentences is more acceptable than much. Many people believe this, many experts agree. Those appear in news, in writing, in formal speech, and they sound fine.
Just not in casual, everyday conversation.
In casual conversation, a lot of people believe this is the natural choice. Many people believe this sounds like a headline.
So for everyday spoken English, positive sentence, any noun, a lot of is always the safe choice.
Always. And in negatives and questions, much and many are right at home.
So now you have the full picture of much, many, and a lot of.
But there are two extensions of this that every learner needs to know.
Which ones?
Too much and too many, and so much and so many.
Let us start with too much and too many. Too just means more than is wanted?
More than is wanted, more than is comfortable, more than is needed. The feeling is always negative. Whatever you are describing, it is a problem.
There is too much noise in here.
I drank too much coffee and could not sleep.
There are too many people in this room.
She made too many mistakes.
In all of those, the quantity is causing a problem.
always. And this is where one of the most common real-world errors happens. Learners use too much when they just mean a large amount, not a problem.
Like your friend. She said, "I enjoyed that trip too much."
She meant it as the best possible thing, but what she actually said was, that trip was a problem for me. The enjoyment was excessive, too much.
The worst holiday compliment in history.
What she wanted to say was, I enjoyed that trip a lot. Neutral, positive, no problem.
So the difference between too much and a lot is the difference between a problem and a fact.
Exactly. I have a lot of work this week. That is a neutral statement. I have too much work this week. I am overwhelmed. It is a problem.
One word completely changes the feeling.
It does. Now, so much and so many work very differently from too much and too many.
How so?
So much and so many express emphasis, strong feeling, surprise, or admiration about a large quantity, and they are completely natural in positive sentences.
There is so much to learn here.
She has been through so much. I love this city so much.
There are so many things to do here.
So many interesting people, so many places to see. All positive, all natural. The so adds emotional weight, and that is what makes much and many work comfortably in a positive sentence.
So if I want to use much or many in a positive sentence without sounding formal or stiff,
Put so in front. So much and so many are your way in.
too much and too many, excess, problem, negative feeling. So much and so many, emphasis, strong positive emotions.
Same structure, completely different feeling.
So we have much, many, a lot of, too much, too many, so much, so many. Now let us talk about questions.
How much and how many? And the rule is exactly the same split. How much for uncountable nouns, how many for countable nouns.
How much water do you drink a day?
How much time do we have? How much information do you need?
How many people are coming? How many times have you been there?
How many bags did she bring?
All of those follow the same countable and uncountable rule we have been building all episode.
They do, but how much has one special use that has nothing to do with nouns at all?
Prices.
Exactly. How much is it? How much does it cost? No noun needed. This is one of the most common questions in everyday English, and it is always how much.
Not how many.
Never how many. Price is always how much.
And this connects directly to the second hook sentence. Your friend asked, how much people were at the restaurant?
And now we can see exactly why that is wrong. People is the plural of person. One person, two people, three people. Fully countable.
So how many people were at the restaurant?
Always how many people, never how much people.
Now, there is another layer to this. Sometimes learners use the wrong quantifier not because they got confused about much or many, but because they got confused about the noun itself.
This is the always uncountable trap, and it is the hidden root cause of so many errors.
What do you mean by always uncountable?
Some nouns are uncountable in English, but in many other languages they are countable. So learners treat them as countable and reach for many, but the noun itself is wrong before the quantifier even gets chosen.
Give me some examples.
Advice, information, news, furniture, homework, traffic, luggage.
I need an advice.
Always wrong. Advice is uncountable in English. You cannot say an advice or two advices. You say, I need some advice. I need a lot of advice.
She gave me 2 informations.
Also wrong. Information has no plural in English. She gave me a lot of information. She gave me some useful information.
There are many traffics on the road.
Traffic is always uncountable. There is a lot of traffic on the road. There's too much traffic today.
So the error starts with the noun, not just the quantifier.
Exactly. If you treat advice or information or traffic as countable, you will always reach for the wrong word. Fix the noun first, and the quantifier follows naturally.
And there is one noun that behaves differently depending on what you mean by it.
Time, and this one is worth stopping on.
I do not have much time. Time is duration, uncountable.
I have been there many times. Time as occasions, individual visits, countable.
Same word, completely different meaning, completely different quantifier.
One question decides it. Are you talking about duration or occasions? Duration, much time. Occasions, many times.
I do not have much time to explain, but I have explained it many times already.
Both in one sentence.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about the mistakes, the exact sentences that go wrong most often, and why.
Starting with the first one, and we have actually already solved this one.
Which one?
There are much books on the table.
Apply the test. Can you count books? 1 book, 2 books, 3 books?
Yes, books are countable.
So much is wrong here. Much only goes with uncountable nouns.
There are many books on the table. Always many for countable nouns.
Now mistake number 2.
I do not have many money.
Can you count money? 1 money, 2 monies?
No, money is uncountable.
So many is wrong. Many only goes with countable nouns.
I do not have much money. Always much for uncountable nouns.
Mistake number 3, and this one trips up even intermediate learners.
Which one?
I like it a lot of.
What is wrong with that?
Remember the rule about a lot. When no noun follows, there is no of. A lot of needs a noun to attach to. Without a noun, just a lot.
I like it a lot. Thanks a lot. She has changed a lot.
No noun after any of those, so no of.
I like it a lot of. The of has nothing to connect to.
Exactly. A lot of before a noun, a lot on its own at the end.
And mistake number 4. This is the one your friend made at the beginning.
I enjoyed that trip too much.
She meant it as a compliment, the best possible thing she could say about that holiday.
But too much always signals a problem, an excess, something uncomfortable.
So what she actually said was, that trip was overwhelming. It was too much for me.
Which is the opposite of what she meant.
What should she have said?
I enjoyed that trip a lot. Warm, natural, positive. No problem implied.
Or, I enjoyed that trip so much. That adds emphasis and strong feeling, but without the negative meaning of too much.
Exactly. Too much, problem. So much, emphasis. A lot, neutral and natural.
4 mistakes, 4 fixes.
There are much books. Wrong. There are many books. Right.
I do not have many money. Wrong. I do not have much money. Right.
I like it a lot of. Wrong. I like it a lot. Right.
I enjoyed that trip too much. Wrong. I enjoyed that trip a lot. Right.
And the 2 questions that help you get it right every time. Is the noun countable or uncountable?
Uncountable, much. Countable, many. Either, a lot of.
And is the sentence positive, negative, or a question?
Positive, reach for a lot of. Negative or question, much and many are right at home.
That is all you need.
Now let us hear all of this working together in a real conversation.
The scenario. 2 friends catching up after one of them has just come back from a trip abroad. They are talking about the holiday, the journey home, and the week ahead.
Let us go.
Welcome back. How was the trip?
It was wonderful. There were so many places to see. We did not have much time at each one, but we tried to see as much as possible.
How many cities did you visit?
6 in 10 days. It was a lot of traveling, but completely worth it.
And the food?
So much good food. We did not have many bad meals at all, maybe 1 or 2.
How much did it all cost?
A lot. More than I expected, honestly. There were too many things I wanted to buy.
Did you bring much luggage?
I brought a lot of luggage going, but I had too many things coming back. I had to pay for an extra bag at the airport.
And how many people were on your tour group?
About 20. There was so much to organize for that many people. The guide did an incredible job.
That sounds like an amazing trip.
It really was. I do not have much energy left, but I have so many good memories.
Let us pause there. Did you notice how naturally much, many, and a lot of came up throughout that conversation?
Let us pick a few out. You said, there were so many places to see.
Places are countable, and so many in a positive sentence, emphasis, strong feeling, completely natural.
And we did not have much time at each one.
Time as duration, uncountable, negative sentence. Much is exactly right there.
Then it was a lot of traveling.
Traveling is uncountable, positive sentence, so a lot of is the natural choice, not much.
And there were too many things I wanted to buy.
Things are countable, and the meaning is excess, more than I could afford, more than I should have bought. Too many is perfect there.
And at the very end, I do not have much energy left, but I have so many good memories.
2 words, 1 sentence apart, and both exactly right.
Because that is what happens when the rules become natural. You stop choosing consciously. You just speak.
And that is exactly what today was about. Getting these 3 words so clear that the right one comes naturally every time.
So let us bring it all together. Much, uncountable nouns, negatives, and questions. I do not have much time. How much does it cost?
Many, countable nouns, negatives, and questions. There are not many options. How many people are coming?
And a lot of, both. All sentence types. The natural choice for positive statements in everyday English.
And the 2 questions that decide everything. Is the noun countable or uncountable?
Uncountable, much. Countable, many. Not sure, a lot of always works.
And is the sentence positive, negative, or a question?
Positive, reach for a lot of. Negative or question, much and many are right at home.
Remember, too much and too many always signal a problem, an excess, something uncomfortable.
If you mean a large amount with no problem attached, a lot of is the word you want.
And so much and so many for emphasis, strong feeling, completely natural in positive sentences.
Now, your challenge for this week. Think of something in your life right now, something you have a lot of, something you have too many of, something you do not have much of.
Write your 3 sentences in the comments. We read every single one.
And if this episode helped you, share it with one person who is learning English right now. One share makes a real difference.
And if you're not subscribed to Say It yet, please subscribe. We put everything into every single episode, and we don't want you to miss what's coming next.
We will see you there. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.